no one wants to say it out loud, especially not after 70. You can talk about your pills, you can talk about your blood pressure, even about your funeral plans. But sex? Even the word feels wrong, like it no longer belongs in your world. So you stay silent, even when you feel the longing, even when you miss being touched, even when your body still aches, not just with pain, but with desire. You smile politely when doctors ask about your quality of life, but you never mention what's really missing, because people will think it's disgusting, or laugh, or say, "At your age?" But here's the truth. Your need for intimacy never retired, and pretending it did could be slowly breaking your heart. Literally. In this video, we're going to talk about why silence around sexuality in older adults is not just sad, it's dangerous. And if you've ever felt this part of you slowly fade away, stay with me, because you're not broken, you're just hidden. And we're going to gently bring that part of you back to light, where it belongs. He's been married to Margaret for 52 years. They raised kids, buried parents, beat cancer twice. They still have coffee every morning, still share the same bed. But something's changed. They don't touch anymore. Not like they used to. Frank remembers the last time Margaret reached for his hand at night. It was 6 years ago. She stopped after her surgery, said she felt different, said her body didn't feel like hers anymore. She started wearing baggy clothes, changing in the bathroom, stopped hugging, stopped kissing, stopped reaching. So Frank stopped asking. He didn't want to pressure her. He didn't want to sound like a pervert. He figured maybe it was just time, that maybe this part of life was over. But then Frank's heart got worse. His mood dropped. His memory started fading. What doctors found shocked them both. Frank's lack of intimacy wasn't just emotional. It was impacting his immune system, his sleep, even his risk for stroke. You see, intimacy isn't just about sex. It's about touch, oxytocin, blood flow, neural stimulation. And when the body is denied these things, it starts to shut down. Seniors who maintain some form of intimacy, whether through holding hands, cuddling, or verbal affection, have lower blood pressure, better memory, stronger emotional resilience, and significantly lower mortality rates. But no one talks about it, because we've made it shameful. And that shame, it's costing us years of life, and even more years of joy. If you're still watching this, and you've ever felt that emptiness, that quiet, invisible hunger for touch, please comment 1 below. You are not alone. And in the next part, we'll explore what happens when older adults start believing they're no longer worthy of love or desire.
Her name is Lois. She's 82, widowed, lives in a small apartment filled with quiet, and framed photos of her younger self. Once, she was the most radiant woman in any room. Red lips, fierce eyes, a laugh that could fill a theater. But now, when she looks in the mirror, she barely recognizes the person staring back. Her skin is thin, her hair won't sit right. Her breasts feel more like memories than part of her body. One day, her granddaughter asked her, "Grandma, do you ever think about falling in love again?" Lois smiled politely, but inside, something twisted. No one would want this, not anymore. That's what she believes, that desire has an expiration date, that aging is a punishment, that intimacy is a privilege only the young can claim. And Lois isn't alone. Across the world, millions of older adults have been made to feel like their bodies are embarrassing, like affection must be hidden, like attraction no longer applies to them. And so they shrink. They stop wearing the clothes they used to love. They avoid mirrors. They withdraw until their entire identity becomes just old. But here's the truth. Desire is not a shameful echo of the past. It is a vital sign of life, of connection, of brain function, of hormonal health, of memory, of joy. And when we tell older people to silence that desire, we're telling them to silence themselves. We're robbing them of a part of their humanity that is just as important now as it ever was. Let's be clear. This isn't about just feeling good. It's about staying alive. Medical researchers have found that older adults who maintain physical affection and emotional closeness have lower cortisol levels, the stress hormone, produce more oxytocin, the bonding hormone, experience reduced inflammation, sleep longer and deeper, have better cognitive test scores, and yes, they live longer. One study from the University of Chicago followed adults over 70 and found that those who reported consistent physical closeness, even just holding hands or being hugged, had significantly lower risk of developing Alzheimer's, cardiovascular disease, depression, stroke, and even cancer. Why? Because human touch, especially when safe, wanted, and affectionate, literally tells the body, you are safe, you are connected, you are still needed. That message travels deep. It changes brain chemistry. It regulates heartbeat. It even boosts immunity. Yet, despite all this, we don't teach it. We don't include it in checkups. We don't even ask seniors if they feel emotionally fulfilled. We treat sex and intimacy like indulgence, when in reality, for older adults, it's medicine. If you're still with me, comment 4 below. In the next part, we'll look at how shame and silence around intimacy are leading to hidden mental health decline among seniors, and what families, caregivers, and older adults themselves can do to reclaim their right to closeness.
Let me tell you about Geraldine. She was 76, widowed for over a decade, lived in a tidy little house where everything had a place, except her own grief. Geraldine never dated again, not because she didn't want to, but because she believed she wasn't allowed to. She told her neighbor once, "What would my children think? What would the neighbors say? I'm not supposed to feel these things anymore." So she buried that part of herself, deeper each year, and slowly she began to fade. First it was her smile, then her energy, then her memory. By the time her daughter finally took her to a doctor, Geraldine had lost more than just her joy. She had lost her will to engage. Her diagnosis? Early-stage cognitive decline, compounded by chronic emotional isolation. You see, the brain is not just a machine of logic. It's a symphony of connection, stimulation, closeness. And when that music stops, the mind begins to atrophy. Just like muscles weaken when unused, our emotional and physical intimacy circuits decay when silenced. Geraldine's story is not rare. Across the world, millions of seniors are slipping quietly into despair, not because of disease, but because of shame. There's another story, one with light. Lucia is 81, widowed, just like Geraldine, but last year she did something radical. She told her doctor, "I miss being held. I miss sleeping next to someone. I don't want to die without ever feeling close again." His doctor didn't laugh, didn't judge. He smiled and said, "Thank you for telling me that. That's one of the most important things I've heard all week." And with that one moment of honesty, Lucia began to reclaim her vitality. She joined a seniors discussion group, one focused on emotional connection and touch. She started therapy. She learned that feeling alive doesn't have to end just because her husband did. She even began exploring companionship again, with dignity, openness, and courage. The change? Lucia started sleeping better, her mood lifted,
Her memory stabilized. She laughed more. She started dancing again. And no, it wasn't because she found someone. It was because she found herself again. Intimacy is not just about pleasure. It's about identity. And when we silence it, we don't preserve dignity, we destroy it. If this resonates with you, comment 6 below. Your voice matters more than you know. In the next part, we'll talk about how to reclaim safe, healthy intimacy as an older adult, even if you're alone or starting over, and why doing so could add not just years to your life, but life to your years.
So what if you're not married? What if you're widowed or divorced or living alone? Does that mean your need for touch, connection, and closeness just disappears? Absolutely not. In fact, it becomes even more important because loneliness is not just painful, it's deadly. But here's the good news. Intimacy is not just about sex. It's about holding someone's hand, laughing during a phone call, getting a shoulder massage, sleeping with a warm blanket that feels like a hug, looking someone in the eye when you say, "Thank you for listening." These are acts of intimacy, and they nourish the body in ways no pill can. So what can you do? Talk about it. Tell your doctor. Mention it to a friend you trust. Speak the words, "I miss closeness." Rebuild connection slowly. Join a group, take a class, volunteer. Invite touch safely. Get a massage. Ask a loved one for a hug. Hold your grandchild's hand. Practice self-connection. Stretch. Use aromatherapy. Rest your hand on your chest and breathe deeply. And if you've been told that no one wants you anymore, remember, your worth is not defined by your age. Your right to love, be loved, and feel alive didn't end at 70. It only got more precious. Now, if you're watching this as a son, a daughter, or a caregiver, please listen closely. Your parent is still a whole person, not just a patient, not just a problem to solve, not just someone to keep alive. They are someone who still longs for joy, for touch, for laughter that ends with a warm hand resting on theirs. And if you've ever caught them staring off in the quiet, or noticed their smile flicker when romance appears on the screen, that's not nothing. That's a story untold, a need unspoken. Please don't respond with embarrassment or dismissal. Respond with love. Say, "You deserve affection. You're still beautiful. You are allowed to want closeness." You may not realize it, but those words could revive their soul. Let's pause for a moment. Think of all the messages older adults have been given. Don't talk about that. That's not appropriate at your age. You should be grateful you're still alive. No one wants to see that from someone like you. But what if we told you those messages are not truth? They're cruelty wrapped in politeness. They're silence disguised as dignity. Because the truth is, to want closeness isn't shameful. To long for touch isn't pathetic. To desire connection isn't outdated. It's human. It's beautiful. And above all, it's sacred. After 70, the world often becomes quieter. Friends pass, bodies change, children get busy. The phone doesn't ring as often. But that doesn't mean you stop needing love. It means you start needing it differently. Gently, respectfully, bravely. So here's the invitation. If you're a senior, don't apologize for wanting to feel close again. Say it, seek it, honor it. If you're a family member, create space for your loved one to speak. Listen without judgment. Offer comfort before advice. Because a warm hand, a listening ear, a moment of shared silence
can be the very thing that keeps someone alive. Not just surviving, but truly living. If this message touched you, please share it. Tell someone. Start the conversation. Break the silence. Because when we stop treating intimacy in old age as taboo, we start treating our elders as whole people again. And that might just be the most healing thing we can do.